Hey y'all, it's Dana, the Marigold Shepherdess, and today I want to show you how to do band weaving on a little lap loom. This is a loom that I made. That's Daco. That's my handsome fluffy kitten. I made this loom and I want to show you guys how you can weave on a tiny little loom like this. And the nice thing about this loom is it actually does fit very comfortably in your lap. So you can be watching TV, listening to music, and you can sit wherever you want in the house. And you can pack this in a bag and take it with you on trips. And it's very, very easy to weave on. So let's get started, and I will show you how to set up your loom for weaving. I'm going to weave with just very simple cotton thread. So this is just embroidery thread, and you can get it for fairly inexpensively at craft stores. And so I'm going to use this for the warp and the weft, which you don't really see the weft in band weaving when you're using cards. So I'm going to be doing card weaving. I'll show you how to do that. And the cool thing is that you can make your own cards for weaving very, very easy. You simply get a pack of cards, and you want the ones that have the plastic coat on the outside so they hold up a lot better. And all I did was cut them so that they were square. So I just measured and made sure that I knew how I made them square. Okay, so I did the measurements, I did the little X's and everything, and I figured out where I should cut them so that they are equal on all four sides. And then I just from there I punched the holes. So I just got a hole punch, punched the holes in the corners. And you do want to make sure that you get those even as well. So since this loom is very, very easy to warp. And so all you have to do is figure out how much warp you want. Clip it, and then you're going to do that again. All right, so that's one. Repeat with new colors. Try not to clip your warp accidentally with your string as you go. And you still have to keep up with how many warp threads you use. I have 10 cards. Each card holds 4 warp threads, so I'm going to need 40 total. Do 20 and then do another 20 of the same colors and the same number of colors of each color. It's a little bit fidgety. Okay, so that's going to be the start of my second warp. We're going to take this first one, put Put this together. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a loose knot. So that's my first warp right there. Okay, so that's one. Let's do that again. It's the second warp. Line up the ends. Same thing. Loose knot at the end. Okay. Try and make them fairly even. That's what we got. Okay, so the first thing I gotta do is I've gotta put my warp in this end. And so I'm gonna loosen hopefully I don't have to take it all the way off. I should be able to pass it through. So you want your warp, there we go. You want it to come out this way because it's going to come up over your loom like this. So once I have this positioned how I want it, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten this up, but not completely yet. I want to be able to still move this back and forth if I need to and separate out the threads, but I don't want these knots coming out of my loom. See? Okay, so now we are going to thread the cards. And I'll have, let's see, I'm going to start with these 5 here. So I've got those 5. And it'll be 4 threads per card. So I want to do red, brown, yellow, green. Let's see. And I want to make sure that I match it up on the other side, the same colors. So now I'm going to match this side with this side. And should be a match. Okay. I'm going to do these cards first. And what I'm going to do with these cards is I'm going to go from the inside of the cards out this way. Okay? And then when I do this side, I'm going to reverse that, and it's going to be from this inside of the card out that way, that direction, okay? Instead of doing it the same way all the way across. And I'm going to make sure that when I thread these, that all the cards are pointed in the same direction, so that as I start weaving, and I can look at my cards and make sure that they are all the direction that they're supposed to be. Okay, so this strand first, and I'm gonna go, let's do, yeah, we'll do brown on the outside. And it's so easy to thread these because you got a pretty decent hole. So you're gonna go, oops, top back corner, top front corner, so, bottom back corner, and that's the first one. Continuing to thread these, top back hole, top front hole, lower back hole, lower front hole, in that order, so counterclockwise. Got my concentration face on. Y'all just can't see it right now. Maybe you can hear it in my voice. I will say that this color selection, or this array of the colors, is probably a little helter-skelter. And I like that. Like, I like that I have absolutely no idea what this is going to end up looking like once I get started. Okay. One more. That's one side done. So now I have to do this side, and I have to make sure that I do it with the same pattern, but instead of going from the inside out this direction, I'm going to go inside out that direction, and it's going to give me a different twist as we weave. So I did yellow, blue, yellow, blue. This side's going to take longer because I'm going to have to go back through my other cards and see how, that is if I want a matching pattern on the other side. I could just not do that, but with as much randomness as I've got going on already in this pattern. I figure I might as well try to match it a little bit. Okay, so that's one match. Let me hold them up together and make sure. So those match pretty well. So I can put them together over here and let them chill out. So my next one is, put this here so I can see it. Greens on the top, brown, and then red. Okay, so when I get to the end of this warping, hopefully y'all have a good idea of how to warp now. and how to thread the cards. So I will finish warping this loom and get back to you when it's time for the next step. So the cards are all threaded, and so I'm going to center my warp like so, and then I'm going, just make sure, actually I kind of want them closer together, don't I? There we go. There we go. And now I'm going to tighten my wood slats in place, and I don't want to tighten one side and then tighten the other completely. I want to switch back and forth and make sure they're even, snug, and that's not going anywhere. I then flip my loom around. I'm going to comb my threads. Whoops, I just realized I did not loosen these. So you have two ways of doing this. You can either lift this and then push this between the two. And I have been, if you can see, I've been using a popsicle stick to pull that thread through like so. I'm just going to lower that for a second because I do want to make sure that I have this fairly straight on here. So the bottom isn't too terrible. This top part a little uneven. See how that looks. That's pretty good. With that all the way, the bottom one all the way up. Now I'm going to push this back through. Whee! Push these down. Now I'm going to, I don't want to tighten this all the way yet. So I'm going to lift that up just a little bit, because I do want to tighten these, and I am going to have to sit here and tighten them one at a time, which is annoying. But if you don't tighten them one at a time, then you're not going to get them all tight. Whoops. Alright, so now that I've been through all of that trouble, you're not gonna believe this, but I actually now need to loosen this warp up. So I'm gonna loosen this up a little bit, because the cards have to turn, and if the warp isn't loose enough, they won't turn. Or if they're too loose, then they catch on each other's threads, and you can't get them to turn. Now we're going to check our cards, make sure everybody is lined up. They should all be oriented in the same direction. Check and make sure that, whoops, nobody has any threads wrapped around their corners. Alright, so I'm about to do something now that is going to make all the regular band weavers in the world out there clutch their pearls, because I'm going to hardcore cheat, and I'm not going to put a bajillion popsicle sticks at the front of this weaving to start the weft. I am going to go straight into using the weft thread. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and put my first twist into the warp. So I just rotate all the cards like that. That's the start, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that entire space. And I'm also going to take my leftovers. And you can weave like this. You don't have to weave like this. I'm just showing you what I'm doing here. I'm using every bit that I have. I'm going to do this in half like that. Come through here. I'm going to do that. Alright, so that's one. And I don't have a shuttle for this. So I'm just using my fingers. Leave some of the edges out of the weft thread. So that was 2, 3, so I push it into place and I hold it with my finger and I pull that on one side, pull it on the other, and it's going to take a few goes before it's going to look like anything. So I'm not too worried about how it's looking down here yet. Take cards, turn them one rotation. Make sure that those edges look the way I want them to. Alright, so it's probably not going to be until this is turn number 4. And so this is probably where we're going to finally see what the pattern is going to start looking like, is after this turn right here. There it is. So now it's starting to show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that 1. These are just our starters. That's our first true pass right there. That's got our warp in place and we're starting to get our pattern. So I'm going to call that 1. This is going to be 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go 5 times in this direction, turning the cards this direction, and then 5 times go in the other direction, switch back and forth. Because if I don't do that, then the twist builds up back here, and then I've got so much twist in the back of this warp that I have to take all of this out, and I have to take all the twist out and refeed it and redo that whole thing. I don't want to do that. So this is the second pass. check and make sure those edges are exactly how you want them. Second pass. Alright, well we're going to go back the other way now. I mean, at least it's the beginning of the weave, so. Oh, wrong way. See, I'm in the habit of going that way, so there we go. Do 5 this way, and then you should be able to see what this looks like, this direction, that direction. And then it will also take a lot of this twist out. Four. Alright, so that was 5 this direction, 5 that direction, so now we're going to go back this way. And I'm going to continue to weave this. I'm going to get a bit more along in this pattern and see how it looks, and then bring you back in. Here's what I got so far, and I need to advance the warp on the loom. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to put it in my lap, and I'm going to loosen both the front and the back. Need to loosen that one a little bit more. There we go. I have hold of this back tail, and I'm going to grip, I'm going to pull the cards for. I'm going to grip this tightly. I'm going to advance this together. Let me test it. I'm going to go a little bit further. That should do it. Just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Tighten this back down. I do need to untangle this 12th twist, but I'm going to pull this forward like that. Tight. Check this. It needs to be a little looser than that. There we go. That should do it. And then push this to the back. So I just ended on my pass of 5 going this direction. So now I'm going to go this way. I'm going to thread my weft, rotate cards, my sides. If you ever go, ooh, that's too much, you can do that and pull them back out again. Almost out of my weft thread. 2. So I'm about to change that up next as well. I'm going to go, oops. I'm going to get this fairly close to even. I want one end to be a little bit longer than the other so I get the same situation. So I have a little bit left over. I'm going to go through with that. What was that? 1, 2, 3. Go. That's snug. And now I can clip this one, it's done. And switch over to yellow threads. And now I'm going to go other direction. Hey, little helper. Don't play with scissors, please. Don't play with that either. In fact, just don't have any fun. Ha ha ha. Don't have any fun. Peugeot aspires to one day have his little face on a loom. Isn't that right? Okay, I've gone pretty much as far as I could go. I could probably squeeze a little bit more in there, but I'm out of my weft, and it would be, you know, I'd maybe get that much more woven into this. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to stop here. So I'm going to take, I've got my weft here and here. I'm going to take the one on this side, and I'm going to pass it through. What happened to my, there we go. I'm going to pass it through to here, and then I'm going to tie the two together. This way my my band can't unweave itself. Alright, so that's stuck there. So even though I'm going to take this all apart and everything and take the cards off, this will not be able to unweave itself from here up, or from here down. It's opposite day. So I had a little straggler, so I wrapped it around that. Let's pull this off the loom. And I might have been able to eke a little bit more out of there, but I got what? I'm going to find out how much. Well, you dream that these are just going to come right off. Okay. The only annoying thing is you do end up with a lot of warp left over. And that can be really annoying. So I'll probably cut these off at some point, and I'll use them to tie up skeins of yarn. Wow, that lighting is really bad. This is not that yellow. That green is showing up as yellow. This is not quite that garish in real life. So, not bad for just a little loom made out of some blocks of wood. I will be making these for purchase. So please keep an eye out for that. I can even customize them to some degree. It depends on quality of the photo and things like that. The shape of the loom also dictates what kind of orientation the photo should have been taken in and things like that. So, but I might be able to sort you out, so we'll see. By the way, there you go. That's my boy. That's my good boy. So, there you go. There you go. Oops. There you go. He's fluffy. Alrighty. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch up with you guys in a couple of weeks. Bye. Sorry. Well, this tied itself all up.